So Bill, Mates United are back in the top tier of non-league football. How how pleased are you to have achieved that?
Well, absolutely delighted. It's 5 years ago, Terry, Oliver and myself sat down and we said, well, what's the aim? And obviously we talked Football League, but really we said if we can get to this level, which is the top tier of non-league football, we'd be happy. And we said, well, how long is it going to take? And we said, well, 5, 10 years. We weren't sure, but here we are. It's almost a miracle. It really is. Absolutely delighted.
I think obviously going away straight away after the game, me and Corley were sort of sat out in Spain and a couple of days after, and then it kind of sunk in a little bit then.
It was a bit of a crazy one straight after the game. We flew out to Spain at 3 in the morning, so it was a bit of a crazy weekend, but as finally, when you get back, you look at the press and speak to your friends and family and the boys at the club, and it's a fantastic achievement and something we're really proud of.
In many ways, you couldn't have wrote that script any better, because you're back-to-back promotions to seal that move to the National League next season.
Yeah, it's been amazing. I mean, and you know, all credit must go to Jay Saunders and the teams that he's put out. They've done great for us, because they've sort of come on the rails, haven't they? They've been always thereabouts and had to fight and show great character, and it's been great.
It's accolade to everyone involved at the club. It's not just the management and the coaching, the playing staff, the kit men. It's everyone that's attached to the club, from whether it's sorting out the hiring facilities. It's the whole setup here is just fantastic, and they've got some real good people that have really pushed the club into the right direction and where they belong, really. So it's a great achievement, especially for Jay in terms of his management as well, to do so well and win so many trophies in a short space of time of him managing. Is great.
It was just a strange thing, I think, from 30 seconds away from losing the game to then winning it was a bit surreal, really, and it was one of them where I just sort of had to step back for a minute. Obviously when I see Darryl and his coaching team, shake hands with them and their players, and then and it was a case of seeing the family and stuff, and getting Haley to get me a beer, I think, just to sort of calm down and let it sink in. But no, it was an unbelievable day. I think if anyone had said to you you'd win the game, then obviously it would have been fantastic. But to win it the way we did, and I thought we deserved it, was just an unbelievable achievement. And seeing the boys celebrating the way they were, it was great to be around.
Were you in the lineup for a penalty? If it had gone
I didn't really. I think my legs were so tight, I didn't really fancy it. So there was 2 or 3 of us. I think me, Joe Healy, and Callum were having a chat about who was going to go next. But by the look of all of our faces, we didn't really fancy one. But I'm just glad that the boys done the job in the first 5, because I don't know who would have stepped up next, really. But no, it's great.
Well, you couldn't wrote a better script, could you? It was a real top class script. I've got a confession to make. I didn't actually see the final, but I was in a car park in a hospital, because my wife had been taken into hospital the night before, and my conscience wouldn't let me go to the game. But I sat there, and I was screaming at this radio. I mean, in fairness to the reporters from Radio Kent, they did a really, really good job, and it sounded really exciting. But for me to have missed it, it's the first big game I think I've ever missed. But it had everything, and what it must have been like to be there, I don't know. The hearts must have been banging out of the chest. It was it was a perfect finish, wasn't it?
I've been around for a long time in terms of playing, and I've never experienced anything like it. The mixed emotions of, like you say, being, I think it's like 20 seconds away from just losing out, when realistically I don't think we really deserved to lose the game. To then getting the equalizer and then it going to penalties it's crazy. It does take a long time to actually sink in, but it's just a credit to the boys. I spoke to some friends that watched the game, and it just looked like we really picked up in in the second half of extra time, we just looked like we got an extra spur of energy and really pushed on, and it was good that we got the equaliser, and then fair play to the boys that stepped up, especially the youngsters that have never been in that experience before, never really been in big games like that. To step up and take a penalty and score is great, so it's credit to them.
Obviously, third promotion in 4 years. We've had those, those moments of great celebration. We've had those those FA Cup runs in your time as manager. But would this go down as your ultimate match so far?
Yeah, I think as an overall achievement as well. I think it's probably the best thing I've ever done in football, or best thing I've been involved in football. Like I've said before, since I've been manager here, we've kind of been expected to get promoted from the Ryman South, because, to be fair, no disrespect, we were a bigger club than that level. We then got to the Ryman Prem, and obviously we was expected to get out of that in our second season, and it was tough because you had the likes of Margate and Hendon. And then obviously this year we weren't really expecting much, and it was a strange feeling beginning of the season. We lost a few games, and you're getting supporters patting you on the back saying, "Oh, unlucky, never mind, it's going to happen," and it kind of was a bit strange, really. So it was nice to obviously not have that pressure so much. But as I said before the game to the lads, that the only pressure on them Saturday was the pressure we were putting on ourselves, because we knew we were good enough to beat Ebbsfleet on the day, and knew we deserved to be there. So yeah, without a doubt, it's the biggest thing I've been involved in football, and certainly I'm sure if you spoke to a lot of the players, they'd say the same.
In terms of next season, of course, that starts on the 6th of August. Preparations already underway, though.
Oh, very much so. We've had of course we had the big meeting, which was Terry, myself, and Oliver, and they sat down, and once they'd sort of thought seriously about what it all entails and all the costs involved, all the implications, and sort of the big tick, which was there anyway, and the green light to go ahead. We've now got all the real hard work, and every department of the club, whether it be the commercial side, whether it be the management side, whether it be the main side, which is Jay's side, to get those 4 or 5 extra players in that he needs. It's all full steam ahead now, and it doesn't seem like there's a lot of time, and I don't know how we're going to get that stand up in time. I really don't. I don't know how you're going to sort of get all the players signed up. I don't know how you're going to go through all of the paperwork, but we'll find a way.
Pre-season's obviously proving a little bit difficult with regards to games and things, because a lot of the teams like Dagenham now obviously are in the same league. There's other clubs that we normally tend to play, and some of them are not available. But yeah, now it's players. I've got to speak to a few of our players that are out contract. Obviously there'll be comings and goings with players coming in. I'll be speaking this week with a few targets we've got. But I generally think this year it'll be a lot tougher to get players in. I know we've gone up a level, but there's a lot of big clubs in this league, and you're fighting for the same players, and so it'll be interesting. I don't think things will happen as quick as I've managed to do business in the last few years, which makes it frustrating for myself and supporters, I suppose, because they like to hear new lads coming in. But it'll take time, and we won't rush into anything. We've got a good sort of nucleus of a team. We need to add and need a little bit more experience in key areas, but players like that, when you get to this level, the players I think we need to improve. They like to take their time a bit more and wait and see what other options they've got. So yeah, it's a busy period, but one obviously now I'm really looking forward to.
Well, it's been crazy. I think the first 4 or 5 days after winning, we were making constant phone calls and getting text messages and looking at planning for next year. It's going to be tough. It's a huge step up, as we knew it was from the Ryman to the Conference South. We knew it's going to be a big step, but if we can add with 3 or 4 players that have got that experience of playing at that level or above, and with the mixture of the ability and the talent we've got and the youngsters in the squad, we've got 3 or 4 boys that have got experience as well, including myself. So if we can get that good mix like we did last season, I'm sure we'll hold our own and do really well. But it's going to be a big ask. But I'm confident with the boys that we've got and the players that we've got already, with the 2 or 3 additions, we'll be okay.
In terms of for yourself personally, the chances to pick yourself against likes of Tranmere, your Lincoln Cities, your York City next year, it's a fantastic opportunity for you personally.
Yeah, I don't think. I think as a team effort for the squad, for Nicky, Coyley, all the backroom staff. It's just It's great, and it's great. I know obviously Terry and Oliver have got a lot of things to do off the pitch, but it's just a great achievement to get where we have so quick. And we've just got to make sure now that we get as good a side as we can together to really compete at this level. We've always said every time we've gone up, we don't want to go up and just make the numbers up. And I know people said if we can stay up, it's a fantastic achievement, and it would be a fantastic achievement to stay up. But we've got to set ourselves a little bit higher target than that, and get players in that help us do that.
And your own involvement playing wise next season, is that still to be discussed, or are you throwing your hat in the ring?
He won't let me step down. No, he won't let me retire. So I think I'm going to have to make myself available again next season. So I've tried twice to retire, and it's gone the other way. But no, I really enjoyed last season, both on and off the pitch. Obviously, not being involved was a shame for the 10 weeks that I was out, but I kind of got a new lease of life really last year, and really enjoyed the playing side of it. And I'll continue as long as the manager wants me to. So.
One of the biggest changes that people will see over the next 9 months is that stand that's in the background there of where we are now. There's going to be significant changes at that end of the ground if someone was to come back here. If we were to do this interview again 12 months from now, a totally different background.
Yeah. I think if looking up there, it doesn't look too impressive now. The new stand is very impressive. It is quite a spectacular bit of kit, and I think it's what takes 1,200 people, 1,200 standing, and of course, we've got all the little difficult parts to get the segregation right in it, but it's going to look fine. It's going to look great.
Last time at this level of the game, of course, I think it was called the GM Vauxhall Conference at the time. You were there on the terraces, being introduced to Mates United. It is fantastic for the club to be back at that top tier of the non-league game. Yeah,
and I generally believe that we should be there. You can see with the fan base we've got since we've come back in town, it should be back there, and that's no disrespect to other teams in the leagues. The Ebbsfleets obviously we just beat. It's just the fact that I think, as Terry said beginning of the season, we are a big club and we've got such a big fan base that it's great to have that opportunity to say, like you say, teams like Tranmere's, and we saw the experience when you go into grounds like Wrexham and that, they're proper grounds, and it'd be great to be involved in that. And don't get me wrong, I never thought we'd go straight through the Conference South, but we've managed to do that, and I think we deserve to be there, and hopefully we can do the town proud next year.
And what are your hopes for the team for next season? I mean, obviously, when we came into National League South, it was to hold your own and maybe sneak in that playoff berth on the last. If it happened on the last game of the season, last kick of the ball, you'd be happy. What aspirations do you have at the National League level?
I think you always go in with the same aspirations. You always say to your manager, like all the people who I used to work for, they say the same thing, and we still say the same thing. We want to win this league if we can. You've got to have that mindset. You've got to have everybody on the same wavelength, on the same, singing to the same old song sheet, and win the league if you can. And then that's simple. Everybody gets it. But then what happens is you step back, and the realities are, I would think, like we had last year. We thought, well, if we can get mid-table, three-quarters, and maybe get to the playoffs. And that's most probably going to be reality here with this National League. I mean, you look at the teams, look at Tranmere, you look at Torquay, you look at Lincoln, look at York, you think, well, there's going to be a lot of 1-0ers one way or the other. There's going to be a lot of close games here. And we got no idea the standard. We've got no idea whether our players can step up to this plate. So I think I think it's going to be really, if you're going to be totally honest, a bit of suck and see.